Well, hello lads and lasses, my name is Gofannon, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to make smoke come out of your head, or whatever you want to do, for about $20. First, we're going to need the primary parts. Why couldn't I have a cute lass in a short skirt first, insistent? Here's the first piece we're going to need. It's a little LED flashlight. You can get them at most any hardware store. Lowe's, Home Depot, Tractor Supply. It doesn't really matter. Here's the little piece we need out of it. The battery pack. They're useful for wiring things up. The second piece we're going to need is an e-cigarette. You can get them at most any vape shop, off the internet. And the final thing we're going to need is an aerator. It's used for keeping little fishies alive in a bucket. Why anyone want to keep little fishies alive in a bucket is beyond me. Personally, I like my fish dead, fried, and right next to the chips. And now we're going to need some bits and pieces. I know what I can do with this. Now we're going to need some specialized tools.
That there isn't a hammer. This here is a hammer!
And next, we're going to need a bit of tubing. And a bit of wire. Much like this, my assistant failed to throw onto the table. Nice going! That was uncalled for! My directors told me I had to be a wee bit more serious. The first thing we'll need is a Dremel unit, or a file. Either one will work. Remember our little aerator? Then of course we'll need the tubing. This is used on an oxygen concentrator. We found out it just fits so perfectly into the e-cigarette unit. We picked it up at a boot sale. Or as you Americans would call it, a garage sale. Then of course we'll need the solder gun, the soldering wire, and the soldering paste. Then the little wires will solder onto it later. Wire strippers are a nice thing to have. It's never a good thing to have high-powered explosives around whenever you're soldering, dealing with fire, any of that. So we just need to get rid of it. Then of course there's our e-cigarette units and our battery pack. Hammers are good to have. And now on to work. The first thing we're going to need to do is carve a little groove in the e-cigarette. That's so that the solder will stick. But first, we're going to need a power source. Darn it. I know what I forgot. The portable ground. There's multiple kinds of portable ground, but for all you people who've ever had a jerk of a grandfather, make you hold the spark plug while he pulled the cord on the lawnmower. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. In this case, we're going to be using a bucket of dirt. Now we see if it works. You caught me on a quick break. And now then, on to business. I just want to remind you to make sure you take all of this apart so that you don't burn up the element when you're soldering the wire. And now, remember the little groove I was telling you had to cut into it? That's where you put in the groove. And now then, we get to the actual soldering. stay where I put you. Darn it, you're really annoying me. Darn it. And now then, this is what it will look like when you take the piece off. You see the hole in the center? It's really important to make sure that you don't solder over it. That will stop the airflow. And that's exactly what we did wrong on this one. You see how you can't see through the hole? Because that stops the air. This is what the piece should look like if you do it correctly. You see how you can still see through the hole? That will allow the airflow. And then you see where it's soldered on the outside? The outside wire is the negative. The inside is the positive. Make sure you don't hook it up backwards. And now then, the next piece you're going to have to solder on is the wire to the battery pack. One thing you want to make sure is you see the little plastic dot on that end? You want to make sure you solder as far away from it as possible. Otherwise, you may melt it and then you're going to need a new battery pack. And here's the little hose I was showing you earlier. You see how it fits so perfectly into the e-cigarette unit? You're going to have to either drill, burn, or stab a hole in it in order to run the wire through. It's really important to make sure that you don't get the hole too big, but if you do happen to slip up and make it too big, you can always put a little bit of glue, electrical tape, or silicone on it to seal up the hole. Assistant! I need you to hook up the hose. The hose, right here, look. You put that in that. Yes. And then turn it on. That, yep, right there. No, other side. There you go. And now then, you hook up the green to the black. And the red to the yellow. And then we have smoke. You can get a nice little bit of smoke. And now I do a close-up shot of the whole system wired up. And here is our little aerator unit. And the little hose that goes around, and around, and around to the cigarette unit. And then of course we have our little wires going to the battery pack. And then it's as simple as hooking up a little wire and you have smoke. And that's how it works. Now we move on to the next part, which involves the... What are you doing? You lost your mind. I know there was a broom at some point, but it's not anymore. Good help is truly hard to find these days. You wind up getting jokers like him. What are they good for? They just stand around doing pointless things, wasting your...
Tea time!
Okay, thank you.
1 lump or 10?
I'm fine, thank you very much.
Suit yourself.
It's actually pretty good tea. And if you found this video informative, you may need to seek professional help, but we do hope you enjoyed it. And don't forget to support your local mad scientist. Every shilling or dollar you donate will help me do something stupid and possibly incredibly dangerous. What are you doing? Put them down! No, not there! Well, that was anticlimactic. Well, I guess we're having chicken for supper. And I'd like to give special thanks to the nice man we met at Pensacon. He's part of this Ghostbusters group. The information he gave was most useful in getting our system to work. He told us about using the e-cigarette units. which came in very handy because we needed a very lightweight system to work. So again, I'd like to thank him. If you'd like more information on how their system works, here's the information you need to contact them. I'll wait for a moment for you to take a screenshot. I hope you've got it. And if you like the steampunk genre, you'll also like this. It's a nice little movie they're working on, called Ether. All the contact information is right there for you. Oh, and tell Drew Nick Gofannon sent you.